endless commercials. I hear them on the radio. I see them on TV. How to negotiate with the IRS if you owe them money or have not filed back tax returns. So, Guru, do these companies actually work? Or can you, as an individual, call the IRS if you owe them back taxes and try to negotiate with the Department of Treasury yourself?
Let's call this the way it is. This process, the commercials that you see on TV, this process is not as easy as they make it seem. What they're talking about here is what's called an offer in compromise. And that's the process when you're trying to get the IRS to accept something less than what you know. So an offer in compromise is an actual agreement where the taxpayer, IRS agree to say, okay, this is what the tax is going to be, and this is how it's going to be paid. However, you have to convince the IRS that you can't make the payment in full, either in a lump sum or over time. The IRS is not just going to roll over because you say, look, I really can't make that payment, so let's work this out over time, and maybe you could just let me pay a little less. That is absolutely not what happens. What the IRS does is they request a lot of financial information to confirm your story. And then they are going to determine whether it's really valid that you can't make these payments. So as a result, they're going to want to see a list of all your assets and liabilities, and they're also going to want to look at your earnings and your cash flow. Because, again, if they're going to cut you a break, they want to make sure that you can't make the full payment. And the other thing you have to remember here is before you could submit this formal offer to the IRS, you have to make sure that all the tax returns that you're legally required to file have been filed. You also have to make sure that your current year taxes are up to date. And if you're a business owner, you have to make sure that all your federal tax payments for your employees have been made as well. Now, after determining all that, and the IRS looks and says, okay, they're making a business decision, right? They say, okay, we're never going to be able to get our full payment because of the circumstances taxpayers in. Let's make a deal so that we know we're going to get something. And that's the only reason that the IRS is going to do it. And generally, when they do an offer in compromise, King, it's somebody who's really, really in financial straits. So if you want to get off the hook, really, with the IRS, you essentially have to be broke.